All right, so building off of notes, solving multi-step inequalities, we're going to now go over multi-step problems. And again, as we're working through solving for the inequality, if at any time we multiply or divide by a negative number, then we need to flip that sign. So we're going to go over these during this notes. I'm just going to do them and talk through them, and hopefully you can reference this when doing other assignments or practice problems in case you get stuck. Okay, so over here we need to isolate the d, so we're going to get rid of 7 from both sides. For d on this side, less than or equal to, try to keep these lined up for as long as possible. We have 23 take away 7, and feel free to use your calculator just to make sure you're getting these correct. So 23 minus 7 is 16. Our next step would be to divide by, this is a d, it looks like a 42. Divide by 4. So d is less than or equal to, and then 16 divided by 4 is 4. So again, take that time to double check. If you're still struggling with these basic calculations, you can still get the overall concept to be able to solve for them. So d is less than or equal to 4, put 0, put 4, close circle, less than, it's going that way. All right, next problem in the set. We're going to add 2 to both sides because we have to get this x by itself, so we're going to get rid of this. So add 2. Negative 4x is less than 8 plus 2 is 10. Now we have to get this by itself. We're going to divide by negative 4, divide by what you see. So that gives us x, and because we divide by negative 4, we have to flip that sign. So 10 divided by negative 4, it gives us negative 2.5. So you can leave it as 2.5, or if you want to leave it as a fraction, call it negative 5 over 2. I'm going to leave it as negative 2.5. So now we have to graph this on a number line. So we draw our graph, label 0, label negative 2.5 to the left of 0, and then x is greater than, so open circle, and it's pointing to the right. All right, next problem. We have to distribute here, so we would do 2 times j, 2 times negative 4. So if you need to do the box problem here, remember the box that we were working on, where we have a 2 out here. Here we have a j, negative 4. So this will be 2j, negative 8. So we would write that 2j negative 8 greater than or equal to negative 6. Now we have to isolate that j, so we add 8 to both sides. That will give us 2j greater than or equal to negative 6 plus 8. Let's trust our calculator on these guys. Make sure we're getting them right. Negative 6 plus 8 is going to give us a positive 2. Divide by 2 now. So j greater than or equal to 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the number line here, label 0, label 1, close circle above the 1, j is greater than, so it's going this way. All right. Again, another distributive property problem. I'm not going to do the box method on this one, but if you need to, feel free. Negative 2 times h is negative 2h. Negative 2 times positive 2 would be negative 4. Again, use your calculator here. Just for the sake of speeding up the process, I'm going to just do a lot of these more in my head. So that is going to be less than negative 14. We have to isolate the h, so let's get rid of the negative 4 by adding 4. Get on your calculator, negative 14 plus 4. Negative 14 plus 4 will be negative 10. You're going to now divide by a negative 2, divide by what you see. Then h, and because we divided by a negative, I'm flipping that sign. So h is greater than, and then negative 10 divided by negative 2 is going to give us positive 5. All right, so then if we are going to graph this, we draw our number line, we put 0, we put 5, indicated it's to the right of the number line. It's an open circle because there's no line underneath. H is greater than 5, so the arrow goes to the right. All right, over here, now we have variables on both sides. So we need to isolate variables on one side, constants on the other. So depending on, it all depends on where you start, what you're going to do your second step from. So I might subtract 3w from both sides. That might be where you start if you're going left to right. So that would be 2 less than, and then 2 minus 3 would be negative 1w plus 5. So w's over here, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides now. So 2 minus 5 would be negative 3, less than negative 1w. Now I have to make that positive, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. So w, and I divided by a negative, so I flip it. Negative 3 divided by negative 1 is 3. And you can graph that. So 0, 3 over here, open circle. W is less than 3, less than is going to indicate this way. Again, we have variables on both sides, so isolate variables on one side, constants on the other. As you get more comfortable with solving these, you could make it so you could have subtracted 2 here, and then we don't have to worry about a negative variable at the end. We wouldn't have to flip the sign. So if we think about it that way, I see the negative 4x. Let's add 4x to both sides. That's going to keep this variable term positive. Now, if we do that, and here's how you do this in one step. If you know you're getting rid of this here, your next step is to get rid of the 2. So let's just subtract the 2 right away from both sides. Now, as I simplify this problem, look what I get. 4 and 3 is 7x. 2 and negative 2 is 0. Put my sign down. Negative 4 and 4, 0, gone. 16 take away 2, 14. I divide by 7. X is greater than 14 divided by 7 is 2. Number line, 0, 2 to the right of 0. Open circle, x is greater than. Going this way. All right, last problem here. We have a distributive property. So I can rewrite this problem as 2v minus 4 less than or equal to. Then if you need to use the box method, I'll go ahead and show the work with the box method here again. I know a lot of you guys prefer that. 2, 3v, negative 6. So that'd be 6v and negative 12 when you do that to your calculator. So we're writing that inside right here. 6v negative 12. All right, I'm going to do the one step right here, just like I did in this previous one. So depending on where you want to start, maybe we subtract 2v from both sides. Or some of you guys may see, oh, I'm going to add 4. So we'll add 4. Add 4. And if I add 4 here, that means I have to subtract 6v here, right? Because I want to get that on the other side. Depending on your first step determines your second step. Now let's add all these together. 2 minus 6 is going to give us negative 4v. That equals 0, less than or equal to 0. Negative 12 plus 4, when I type that into your calculator, you're going to get negative 8. Now we have to get v by itself, so I'm going to divide by negative 4. And that gives me v, and because I divided by a negative, I have to flip that sign around. And then negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. All right, v is greater than or equal to 2. To graph that, put 0, indicate 2 to the right, filled in circle, v is greater than, so we're going this way. All right, so you always take a step back when you're done and you look at it and it's like, oh my goodness, look at all that work that we just did, which is why circle your final answers. Watch how much clearer this becomes. Especially for me if I'm checking it through and grading it. So go back through, and when we're doing the assignment, circle your final answers, especially when you're showing your work like this. All right, that's it.